Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm so excited to be relaunching this segment on my channel. This segment is called Sewing by Teshie, and it is where I get to share with you guys all the tips, tricks, skills, everything that I've learned over the years, how many years? How many years have I been doing this, guys? I think over 5 years of just trying to perfect my skills in fashion design to become a fashion designer. So yeah, I just wanted to create this. I wanted to create this platform to share with you guys some of the things that no one told me which I wish I knew, or just how to navigate this industry a little easier, because it's a very tough one, so you need all the extra support that you can get. So yeah, on today's video we're going to be talking about pattern making, which, if you are someone who knows anything to do with the fashion industry, or if you're a fashion designer, or if you work in the industry, or you're an aspiring fashion designer, then you know that pattern making can be the most time consuming and also stressful part of the whole process, because it is very technical and it needs to be really accurate. And if you get it wrong, if you get the pattern making part wrong, then the garments are not gonna look good, they're not gonna fit well, they're not gonna look good. So you have to get it correct, and it's not that easy to get it like accurate. So this is a topic or a section that a lot of designers struggle with, including myself. Let me speak for myself. I struggled with pattern making a lot, especially when I started this journey, and just trying to get the right skills. So in this video I'm going to be sharing with you how I create my patterns for my designs for Style Tech, which is my fashion brand. www.teshie.com if you guys want to check out any of my designs. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys where I source my patterns, how I make my patterns, how I design them online, how I print them, all the FAQs that you guys have about me and my patterns. This is the video for it. It's gonna be a juicy one. So I think I'm gonna start from the very beginning by actually explaining to you guys what exactly a pattern is in terms of the fashion design process. So a pattern, according to Google, in sewing and fashion design, a pattern is a template from which the parts of a garment are traced onto fabric before being cut out and assembled. Patterns are usually made of paper and are sometimes made of sturdier materials like paperboard or cardboard if they need to be more robust to withstand repeated use. So basically, before you create any garment, you need like a template, as I said, or like yeah, what's an easier word? Yeah, a template to be able to trace on the fabric, to be able to cut out that fabric, in the measurements and in the design that you want to create of whatever garment it is. So for example, you want to make a pair of trousers. You're not just gonna go to the fabric and start cutting those pair of trousers. You're also not supposed to, I know some people do this, I know a lot of sewing YouTubers do this, where they kind of trace a pattern onto the fabric using other clothes. So for example, they would take like an old pair of pants of theirs which fits them really well, and then use that old pair of pants to trace it onto the new fabric to cut out this new pattern to sew this new pair of pants. That's how some people do it. I guess it's an easy way to do it, but it's not the best way to do it, especially if you're trying to create garments. If you're just creating a garment for yourself, just just for the fun of it, then that's okay. But if you're trying to get into the business where you have to now create garments for clients and in different sizes, then you need to learn a thing or two about pattern making. So that's what this video is for. Whew, guys, I have been through the most when it comes to pattern making. I have literally made all the mistakes. So I think from all my experiences, I come from all my experiences, I can really give you guys like some really good advice on how to go about this daunting world of patterns. So I have some points here. Let me just go through my points. A girl came prepared, you guys. A girl came prepared. Okay, so first I think I'm going to touch on the various ways in which patterns can be created. So patterns can be created in or you can acquire, let me say, the 3 ways that you can acquire a new pattern. So you can acquire a new pattern in 3 different ways. The first way would be to make it yourself, where you are, you've taken measurements of yourself or the person that you're designing the garment for, and then you're using all those geometrical instruments to actually trace out the garment on a piece of paper, and then you'll cut out that thing that you've traced, which will become the pattern that you're using to now sew your final garment. So I also want to put this disclaimer here. Most of what I know about fashion design I taught myself, but I do have to mention that I did take a few extra courses after my university degree. So once I finished studying computer science at UCT at the University of Cape Town, I joined Cape Town College of Fashion Design, CTCFD, in 2019, and I actually enrolled for 3 courses. So the first course I enrolled for and finished and completed was called Design to Make. So in the Design to Make course, we learned a lot about sketching, technical sketching, flat sketching, artistic sketching, mood boards, storyboards, the whole process of like coming up with an idea of what you want to design, and then translating that idea into like a visual for people to see, or for you to communicate better with other people. That's kind of what Design to Make was for. We also ended up creating a garment at the end as well. The next course I did was pattern making and garment construction. That course was really hectic. That's one I did towards the end of 2019. I didn't end up finishing it, but at the same time I also didn't really feel like I was getting so much value from the course, because the garments that we were creating were like really basic garments that I'd already done before. Like some of the garments that we were being told like we were spending so much time on was like an A-line skirt. An A-line skirt is one of the most easiest things to do, so I was just like, I want to learn more about like shirts, trousers. Those are the things that I felt like I really needed more help in, not skirts. I feel like skirts are really easy. So yeah, that was the second course I did. But I feel like what that course really helped me with was kind of knowing, being able to read patterns. Like it really helped me to know how to read patterns, know how, if like once I see a pattern, I know this is a pattern, this is a shirt pattern, this is a dress pattern, this is a shorts pattern, this is a, some people actually don't know. Like if you've never really like interacted with patterns before, it's gonna be difficult for you to, on first sight, to look at the pattern and know this part is for the sleeve, this part is for the collar. It's gonna be a bit tricky. So I think it's definitely important for even if you're not going to go the route of physically making your own patterns for yourself as a fashion designer, I still feel like it's very important for you guys to kind of understand patterns. So you need to kind of just have a knowledge about like the basics of pattern making, and I feel like those are things that can be learned by yourself. There's so many like free courses online, YouTube videos that you can watch. Just trial and error, practice. So yeah, so the first way that you can make or acquire a pattern is by making it yourself. The second way that you can acquire a pattern to use to design something is by buying it. Okay guys, let me just adjust the lights a bit. Okay, that's much better. So yeah, the second way that you can acquire a pattern is you can buy a pattern as well. So there's a whole huge industry of pattern designers who sell their patterns to fashion designers, to manufacturers, to garment manufacturers and stuff like that. So if you're really good at pattern making, you can decide that for you don't really want to be like a fashion designer where you actually like running a whole fashion brand, but you just want to be in the business of creating patterns. So your job will be to create patterns and sell these patterns to clients who will buy them. And a lot of the patterns that I usually sold this way, so a lot of these patterns are made now for various sizes. So you'll find like a specific pattern for a specific dress has not just been made in one size, it's been made in like a number of sizes, and then that whole pattern will be sold like in a packet or in a package to you. So yeah, that's another way to acquire a pattern. And then you can also buy both PDF patterns, so those are digital patterns, and you can also buy the physically printed patterns. So I feel like in Kenya we don't really have a lot of fabric stores like I guess they have in the States. Even in Cape Town, at the local fabric stores in Cape Town, I can't remember seeing patterns being sold. I don't think I actually ever saw them selling patterns at the fabric stores. So I think buying physically printed patterns, where I'm telling you they'll probably it'll be like in a packet, and then in that packet there are patterns of various sizes for the one garment that you're trying to create. I think that's something that's mostly common abroad. Here in Kenya, I don't think it's that easy to find that, but what you can definitely find in Kenya is the digital patterns. So the digital patterns are where the pattern, you buy the pattern online, and then the pattern is presented to you in the form of a PDF file, or you can even choose other types of files. So these files like will be sent to your email, or it's gonna be in soft copy, and then now it's on to you to actually print out those patterns. So you can decide how to print them out and yada yada yada, which I'm gonna get into in just a bit. So I hope we are together until there. Okay, so the third way to acquire a pattern, I've mentioned the first two ways. The first one being you can make it yourself, the second one being you can buy a pattern, and the third way, so the first one was like you can make it yourself physically by actually like drawing on paper using the geometrical instruments and your teacher's chalk and pencil and rubber and all of that stuff. So the third way to do it, to acquire a pattern, is to design it yourself, but to design it digitally. So right now, guys, with technology, there's a lot. We've come such a long way. We've come a really long way in terms of the, you know, trying to streamline the various processes that we need to go through in terms of creating a garment. So for example, right now there are a lot of software applications where you can actually create a pattern, or rather design a pattern for yourself online, and then once it has been designed online, you can export that pattern onto a PDF or onto a format that you want to print. So that is the third way to do it. The third way I've not really explored much because I didn't even finish telling you guys the third course that I actually enrolled for and paid for to attend at Cape Town College of Fashion Design was this course called Digital Fashion Application. I never got to do the course because the course was supposed to be last year from March till May. So it was supposed to start in March and then go all the way till May. So even when I came back to Kenya, I thought that I'd find a way to, you know, find my, because I already had a visa, like I had a visa, so all I would need would just be like, you know, my flight and accommodation. So I thought I'd be able to go back and do my digital fashion application course as my last like fashion course, but I didn't get to do so. The money just went to waste, and I don't even think they allow refunding. Anyway, so in digital fashion application is where you're taught about the various softwares that you can use to create your own patterns digitally. So I'm going to touch a bit more about that. I've done some research. I'm not going to, you know, dwell too much on it because I don't have that much experience, but I'm basically just gonna share with you some of the applications that you guys can check out or install, or, you know, maybe start to learn if you want to create your own patterns digitally. Okay, so there are various types of softwares that can be used to create digital patterns, and they're usually grouped into two main like categories. And the first category are vector-based softwares. So vector-based software is software that uses vectors and a lot of accuracy when creating or illustrating various things. So for example, in the fashion design industry, Adobe Illustrator is always recommended to fashion designers because you can do a lot with Illustrator. On top of being able to create flat sketches, technical sketches, and even like logos for your brand, you can also create your patterns on Adobe Illustrator. It's just, I feel like it's just a bit more difficult because you have to be very precise in like all the, you know, like the measurements and all the, it's just a bit more intense. So I feel like with Illustrator you have to also have to learn how to use Illustrator before you can be comfortable enough to create your own patterns well, for them to come out well, because just because you're using digital software doesn't mean that you're not gonna make mistakes. It's still gonna be difficult. It's just gonna be a bit more easier than, or is it easier? I don't know. I guess less time consuming than doing it by hand physically, but there's still a lot that needs to be learned. So I feel like Illustrator is very accurate, but you have to invest a bit more time and effort into learning how to use the software application. The second type of software application that you can use to create your patterns digitally are computer aided design software. So those are called CAD. I'm sure you guys have seen this. I don't know if you'd have seen this, but yeah, sometimes you'll see software online and it's written there, this is CAD software. So that basically just means that it's computer aided. I know a lot of computer aided design software doesn't work with MacBooks. So if you have a MacBook, you just stick to the vector-based software. But if you have Windows, then computer aided design software then definitely works for you. I feel like it's easier. Computer aided design is easier to use. You're not really going into the technicalities of actually like measuring. Okay, you have to have your measurements obviously, but you're not really like, you know, drawing so much stuff, because you're just going to input your measurements into the computer software, tell them what you want, and then they automatically generate a pattern for you. So for me, I feel like that's the way to go. I use a lot, yeah. I actually use CAD software a lot to create my patterns, which I'm also gonna get into in a few. Okay, so now we know what patterns are, we know how we can make our patterns, we know that you can also use some digital software to create your own patterns, you know how you can buy. But then now, when it comes to buying, the main question I guess a lot of people ask is where to buy good patterns from digitally. Like if you decided to go to the route of just purchasing your patterns digitally, where should you actually go and purchase these patterns from? And that, my friends, is what I'm gonna share with you on today's video. So I have a list of various sites that I have used to either purchase patterns or that I've used to design my own patterns, because I've used some CAD software. So there's some sites that offer like CAD software online, where you can go to this site and actually physically, not physically, you go to this site and then you go through a process of kind of designing an overview or a sketch of what you want your garment to look like, and then once you input your measurements, they actually create the pattern for you automatically. So that's what I'm going to tell you guys about. So the first place to go and buy PDF. So now we're talking about PDF patterns. The first place to go and buy PDF patterns, guys, is Pinterest. Pinterest will never fail you. Pinterest will never fail you. There are so many patterns that are posted on Pinterest, and I don't know why. You know, we always complain about how Pinterest doesn't have enough black people. Like when you're searching for something, especially when you want to search for, like, I don't know, black makeup looks, or I don't know, something related to or specific to black women or black people, you don't find a lot of examples on Pinterest. But I feel like it's because us as Africans or as black people are, as you know, the minorities, we don't put in enough effort to actually make our presence felt on such platforms. And I feel like I want to change that, because I know Pinterest is a really good platform to use, especially as a blogger, if you want to drive traffic to your blog and actually start earning revenue from ads on your blog. What I also discovered recently is that the AdSense that bloggers get is actually way higher than what YouTubers get. I feel like I'm diverting, but just something to note. So yeah, just take Pinterest a lot more seriously, so you can get a lot of patterns from Pinterest. And the good thing about Pinterest is that it will always, you know, redirect you to the specific site where you can buy the pattern from, and then you can get your pattern quickly emailed to you, and then you can print it out from there. The second place I would recommend to look for patterns is Etsy. Etsy is also a huge marketplace for fashion designers and pattern designers and pattern makers. It's a huge shopping marketplace. So Etsy. I've actually bought a number of patterns from Etsy, and the good thing with some of the sellers on Etsy, some of them also offer printed patterns, where if you don't have access to a printer, they can actually mail that pattern to you. Like, you'll receive it like as a delivery, so you won't have to now be bothered about, oh my gosh, how to print, how do I do this, how do I do this, because that's also another long process, which I'm getting to. Okay, so the third place where you can buy PDF digital patterns for you and your garments is also from bloggers. So guys, there are a lot of sewing bloggers out there. I feel like there are not that many in Kenya. Maybe I'll be one of the few. I know there's Fashion Wizardry. I love Fashion Wizardry's channel, but like I'm trying to think if there are like channels that focus on just, you know, sewing and patterns and actually the fashion design process, and I can't think of many. I can't think of any actually, apart from Matilda's channel. And if you guys know of any, please leave them in the comment section so that I can also follow them and check them out, and also, you know, support them as well. But yeah, so a lot of bloggers sewing bloggers also sell their patterns. So bloggers or pattern makers who have gotten to a point where they're really skilled and they have a following and people are interested in buying their patterns. So a lot of this, some of these bloggers may not have fashion brands per se, so they probably just have a YouTube channel, their blog, and then they create various outfits for their blog, but then they also sell the same they also sell patterns of these outfits that they've created for to their followers, so their followers can also make the same exact outfits as them. It's a very big business, guys, so check out bloggers and YouTubers. I'll give you guys one example. There's this, and she's black, which is just amazing. She's Black American, she's from Texas, she's called Erin, and her blog is called stylesew.me. She also has a YouTube channel, and she just has amazing stuff, guys. She also offers both printed and PDF patterns. And then there's this other blog or website called So Easy, SO space SEW space easy, which sells patterns. It also offers some for free. So the good thing about getting patterns from bloggers and YouTubers, from sewing bloggers, a lot of them will also offer some patterns for free. So for the basic patterns, like, you know, a basic pair of pants or a basic shirt or a simple, you know, tent dress or a simple A-line skirt, a lot of bloggers will offer those patterns for free because they are easier to make and they can be easily found online, whereas the more intricate, detailed designs, you'll have to pay for those. So check out some of this. If you guys just want to start out and you just want, you know, a basic pattern to just like learn how to work with patterns, then you should definitely check out the free patterns. So now I'm gonna move on to the sites that I personally use very often, and I feel like, guys, this is just a lot of people, I don't know that a lot of people know about these sites. Am I revealing too much? But anyway, I just want this to be a platform where we are both like learning a lot, where I'm sharing like a lot of useful information with you guys, and you guys are also sharing useful information with me. Over the past, I would say, couple of years, I think a lot more fashion designers have started like following me on Instagram, or just people who are aspiring fashion designers. And one of the frequently asked questions I get is always to do with like how I go about my pattern making process, because I'm always trying to, like, not always, but I try to capture a lot of my fashion design process on my stories. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram at teshie.ogalo, and a lot of what I also share there is like me printing out my patterns, cutting out my patterns, preparing my patterns for the tailor. So yeah, I get a lot of questions about it, and I was always a bit hesitant to share. So I think if you would have like a lot of like designers who I knew personally and who like DM'd me personally. Then I responded, you know, giving them the 411 of where I was getting my patterns from. But if it was just like some random person who I didn't know, I was not like responding to such DMs. Basically because I felt like it took me a very long time to get to a point where I have this trusted site and this trusted kind of suppliers for my patterns, and it took like no one taught me anything, no one told me anything, no one, you know, I was not spoon-fed at all. I was just trial and error, searching online and just you know, doing the most to try and, you know, make sure that I get the right products. So I kind of felt like I shouldn't share because, you know, those are my industry secrets which I've really tried to acquire. But I've gotten to a point where I'm just like, I don't think sharing will like take away from me. I think if anything, it'll add more value to someone's life, and that might be reciprocated back to me in a way. So I've gotten to a point where I'm my biggest competition and I'm not trying to compete with anyone else. So you guys can also go and enjoy the patterns like me, and please let me know if you guys actually end up using any of these sites that I have mentioned. And yeah, so the first site that I use is called Lekala. That's the first one that I started using. It's called Lekala, Lekala. I think it's from Australia. I think the owners are Australian if I'm not wrong. So it's lekala.co. I'm gonna leave all the details in the description box, so make sure to check the description box as well. So on Lekala, what they do, they offer a lot of patterns, like a lot of patterns, guys. So they have things, so, and then they also use CAD software, so that's computer aided design software, where if they have your measurements, they can easily automatically generate a pattern for you. And also because they have, I don't know, created so many patterns before and created so many like variations of patterns that people could think of ordering. There's a lot that you can do on the site. There are very many patterns on the site. So they even have a category for men and women. Under women, there's dresses, jumpsuits, pants, blouses, shirt, like there's a lot. And even under men, there's a lot. They also have a section for free patterns, and actually that is how I think I started my first PDF pattern was a free pattern from Lekala, and it was, I think, a skirt. Was it a skirt or a shirt or a blouse or something like that? Yeah, so they have some really good free patterns. So if you just want to start out, definitely check out lekala.co. I would definitely say though that some of that, I feel like their style is a bit vintage or classic. So whoever is the owner or the founder of Lekala is probably like a bit of an older designer with a bit of a more, I don't know, older or vintage taste. So you're not gonna find a lot of trendy like designs on the site. You're not gonna find like these cute bodycons which are just like, you know, I don't even know if they have bodycon items on the site. You know, it's a lot of this very classic looks. Like, just go to the site and you'll understand what I'm saying. So if that's kind of your vibe, if your vibe is more classic, then Lekala is for you. If your vibe is more trendy and, you know, like Gen Z kind of fashion, then you might need to rethink this using Lekala. So for me, I've kind of moved away from using Lekala. Now I still use it quite a bit, but I also now use Sewist.com. So Sewist is, I think they're a partnership with Lekala. I think it's the same company but just different franchises. So same company, different, same but different. I think owned by the same person but kind of different. So what Lekala offers is already ready-made patterns for you to just now input your measurements. You click on a pattern, you input your measurements, they email the pattern to you. And then Sewist is now where you, as a designer who is a bit more creative, you want to come in and actually design the sketch yourself. So what happens on Sewist is that they give you options. Like, let's say you want to design a dress, and I think for the next video, let me know if you guys would want me to walk you through how I managed to design some of my previous designs using Sewist. Okay, yeah, so as I was saying, I think for my next video I want to put up a video where I am showing you the actual process of me from the initial stage of coming up with an idea to the point where I am taking now the pattern to the tailor to actually sew the garment. If you guys would want to see kind of that whole process, then let me know in the comment section and I can actually do that. So for example, what I would do as a designer, I would go into sewist.com. I have an account there, and then I would first of all start on, you know, Pinterest, getting all of my ideas from Pinterest, and then I actually know how to sketch. Another video idea would be me teaching you guys how to sketch. So if you just want to know how to like sketch, hand sketch, like fashion sketches for your designs, let me know. It's actually something that anyone can do if you have the right skills. There's a way to do it that it's actually like a skill. It's not as if you're an artist you can, okay, it's some people are actually talented, but then if you, even if you're not talented artistically, you can still create fashion sketches following the right steps. So if that's something you also want to see from me, then leave it in the comment section below. But yeah, so the next thing I would do is to create a sketch, and then from the sketch I would now go into Sewist and then check and see if anyone has done anything similar to mine. And then I like to compare like the patterns of like similar designs to what I want to create, just so that I can see if they've added something. So for example, like it's going to, for some things where I'm not so sure whether I should add like some closures, like should I put buttons there or zips, should I put a zip or what, should I make the sleeve longer, should I put a cuff. So just those small details, sometimes it helps to see what other people have done, just so that you can see whether it could work with your design as well. So I go to sewist.com, I look through other designers' work, and then now I start creating my own pattern using the Computeraided design software, their CAD software. So what you'll do, you'll start from like a blank template, and then they will ask you like, do you want to make a dress or a skirt? So maybe you can choose dress. Then they'll ask you, do you want a v-necked dress, a high-necked dress, you know, how do you want the neckline to be? Then you choose how do you want your sleeves. So at every kind of step you're choosing a different kind of attribute to your garment, which is adding on to and creating the design that you want. So at the end it looks like what you had in your head, which is actually really cool. And that's kind of what I use that's kind of what I use a lot right now, and I really love it. I really love it. The good thing about sewist.com and Lekala is that the patterns that you buy from them are also, that you can also use them for commercial use, meaning that if you're someone who wants to go and sell those patterns again, you can sell those patterns. If you're someone who wants to like for me, like I own a fashion brand and I need the patterns to, you know, create designs for my clients, and you know, in various sizing, then I'm allowed to do that. So it gives people a lot of like leeway and, I don't know, freedom to really take control of their designs and actually do way more with it, apart from just, you know, making one garment. The good thing about them is that they're also, their sizing is really wide. They have like a really wide sizing range, so you can get, I think from, I can't really remember, but like it's a very wide sizing range, which is also what I use to now include in my site. So I use the same sizing, and then they also have sizing for various countries. So it's not just UK sizing. They show you UK sizing, what's the equivalent of that in the US, what's the equivalent of that in Italy, what's the equivalent of that in, I just feel like they should add Africa there soon, because I feel like African bodies are also so unique. But yeah, the good things that they also have sizing from various countries. And yeah, it's just a really nice experience, and it's quick, and I feel like the patterns are really cheap on average, especially if you're like a member like me. You pay around 300 bob or 400 bob per pattern, which is really not a lot. But again, if you're if you're a fashion brand like me, then you will not only need one pattern for a single garment, you will need a number of patterns for a single garment in various sizes to cater for the various sizes of your clients. So that's also something that you need to consider when you're doing your cost analysis and your costings and everything. Whew, I feel like that was a lot. That was a lot to share. I hope I've not rambled on for too long. I hope I was clear. I hope I've not left out anything important. If there's anything that you feel like I have left out, oh wait, there's one more thing I was supposed to talk about. Okay, because I also asked people to ask me some questions on my Instagram, and I've just remembered there was one question I haven't yet touched. So the last question was, now once you've created that pattern online, how do you print it? So what I love about like Color and Sewist.com is that they give you options of how to print the pattern for you. So you can either decide to export it, or they can either send it to you an email in A4 sizing, A3 sizing, let me check. I think I had actually opened up. Yeah, they have A4 sizing, A3 sizing, A2 sizing, A1 sizing, A0, letter, white PDF, DXF, PLT. They have all these formats of how you can, you know, get your pattern. For me, I usually just go for A4 because that's a printer that I have access to at home, and then I print them out on our printer at home. The difficulty with this is that you end up using a lot of paper because A4 sizing is small. So it would be a dream to have those really big printers where you can just print the pattern out as it is, but I don't have that. Those ones are expensive. So right now I just stick to A4 sizing and invest a lot in buying paper. And then now once I've printed out all the pieces from the pattern, because now what they will do is they would cut it into the pattern into sections where you have to stick all the A4 pieces together in a certain way that you can cut out the pattern better. If you guys want a tutorial of this, of how to, you know, prepare patterns from the time that you print it, or how to print and how to prepare, let me know in the comment section, and I will do a tutorial for you guys. I feel like there's so much to talk about when it comes to pattern making, but I really hope this video was helpful. My camera keeps blinking because the memory is low. I feel like I've just created so much content today. Yeah, my camera keeps blinking because the memory is low. I think I've just created so much content today, and it's just like, I'm done. So I think I'm gonna end the video here. I really hope this was helpful. If there's anything I've left out, I know this was just like a very general, basic kind of video, just to kind of introduce you guys to the world of pattern making without scaring you too much, but there's still so much more that I can talk about. So if there's any specific questions or topics that you guys want me to delve more into, then please let me know in the comment section. And thank you so much for being here. If you want to see more videos from Sewing by Teshie, like this video and share it with your friends, you know, and subscribe to my channel. And I guess I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.